Hello, ladies. How's everyone
Hello.
doing? Hey, Michelle, I have a question for you. The other day you had a post and you were getting yourself out of a funk. How'd you do
Yeah.
that?
Actually, it was a reel, and I,
Look at me, old techie.
it was funny. I love that term, getting out of a funk. I love that because sometimes we're in a funk and we don't know why. I knew why. So I know this episode is going to air after I had my conversation about me finding out about being diagnosed with uterine cancer. And that actually, I did that post 2 days after I found out. And I had only shared it with my immediate family. And I woke up that morning and I was hysterical. I was crying. I was pissed off. I was a lot of self-pity, to be very honest. And I'm like, well, I got to do something. I have to get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I was curled up in bed, didn't want to get out. And I am an advocate of journaling. Journaling has helped me so much. So I walked in here in my office and I just cried and wrote and cried and blew my nose and wrote. I felt some better. But I put on my shoes and I started to walk. And then I really got pissed off. And I started to run. I wasn't Forrest Gump. I didn't go off for hours and miles. I was probably gone an hour. But it helped me release what I was feeling at that moment or moments. And I came back and I still was pissed off and I still was upset. But it allowed me to calm down some. It allowed me to catch my breath. It allowed me to just like, that felt good. I found a place to release all of that self-pity. Mm-hmm. And so I have been practicing that to get me out of this cancer funk every day.
So you're saying the movement of
yes.
body.
Yes.
So
yes.
the journaling helps when you're in a funk, but you're finding more the physical right now for where you are.
I'm removing myself from where I am to see something different. So if I'm in my bed and that's where it's overwhelming for me,
right?
I get out of the bed and I'll come in here, or I'll put on my shoes. I'll take the dog for a walk. I get out. I get away from where I'm feeling the funk.
That's good. Yeah.
Because
sometimes you just indulge yourself and stay in that.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to stay in bed and be
yes. Right. I have cancer. I have the right to be here. I have the right to still lay in bed. And that's not wrong. Do not get me wrong. There are days like that. And I have had where it's just, I've been too on. I've been too like, oh, I have to do this. Let me get my laundry done. Oh, let me do this. Oh, shit, I have cancer. Oh, let me go for a run. I have to pay the bills. Oh, shit, I have cancer. I'm going to go downstairs and just curl up and watch a good movie or watch a sitcom. I don't need a movie. I don't need a tearjerker. Let me watch something funny. And that gets me out of the funk. Mm-hmm. So it is okay to just chill also. Yeah. But it depends on what you're doing. I think it's the self-pity aspect.
Well, it makes sense that being physical would help. Like,
yeah. I think that's true for any funk that you're in. Like, regardless of whether or not it's, something heavy, like, having some bad news and health news that you're dealing with. But I think even if it's just, there's another funk that you are feeling, to get out and move especially if you could be in nature, is even better. It's like, just go for a walk. Your perspective changes because you're literally changing the hormones in your system, and you are creating dopamine to your brain. And that is what's going to help you get out of that funk, right? That movement. So even just a walk, 10-minute walk, whatever. That is like so critically important. It's, I mean, they have scientifically proven that they've taken very depressed patients and put them on a walking regime, and they have improved significantly without any drugs, without any medication, just because they're physically moving.
Yes, it is. It's a funk, and there's all kinds of funks. It doesn't have to be a cancer funk. It could be a funk of whatever. You know, you brought up depression.
Job funks, anything. You know, funks.
You could be in a funk with because you're home taking care of children all day, or a child all day. You know, there's all kinds of funks, and I think for me, a change, to snap out of this change of funk, it's like a snapping out of a change of a mindset. You need to change your surroundings, move your body, drink some water, get up and, you know, move, go outside. You know, nature is huge thing. You get so much from that. Sunlight. If you're in a dark place, sunlight, you know, has huge things about it. Eat something healthy. Like, eat something healthy. Don't go to like do a lot of processed food. Eat something healthy.
Or the sugars too. You don't want to go to
the sugars. Are huge. With the processed sugars,
and we tend to want to do that because it's that instant dopamine hit, right? It's like, it is like, you feel good in that exact moment, but then you feel like crap afterwards, right? It's like, you know, I mean, besides the fact that you are going to have the sugar low, you then start to beat yourself up for doing what you didn't want to do in the first place. So it just becomes a cycle, right?
Gets you even more funky.
Exactly. And then you're reaching for more sugar. It's like the hamster on the wheel. You know, you just can't get off it. You just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
So if you guys feel you're in a funk, how do you get out of it?
Exactly the same. I move. The first thing is I move. I never actually realized, but I do change environment. I guess that was just so natural. I never, until you said that. But like, if say I'm in my office, I would physically get up and move, and I would move my body in some form, whether it's usually it's a walk, because that's easy. Like, just get out there and then you're, you know, change of scenery. I'm very fortunate to be right beside a park. So, you know, I get all this greenery hitting my eyes, and it's kind of like, how can you be pissy or funky? Like, you feel good, right? It just starts to make you feel good.
What about you, Tracy E?
Yeah, very similar. I mean, I think the first thing is to identify that I am in a funk, right? Like, what's happening? Like, you know, you're kind of off and not, it's like, what's going on with me here, you know? And just even that awareness is enough to go, you know what? I'm just going to go for a walk and I'll be fine. And then just getting myself out, again, the fresh air. I live out in the country. So again, I'm really fortunate. Nature is around me all the time. So I can just walk out the door, be surrounded by greenery, trees, and I just take myself for a walk down to the mailbox. Like, it doesn't have to be long. It's just changing that environment, which gives you a different perspective. You can see things differently. And I also think it takes your brain away from what it is that you're focusing on that's got you in the funk in the first place. Right? Because the moment we look at something different, we can't be looking at that other thing. So it literally changes that perspective of when you come back to it to go, oh yeah, okay, like it's not nearly as bad, or you're going to look at it differently, or you're going to attempt to, you know, figure out what the problem is differently, because you've created some differences for yourself right off the bat. So very similar, exactly the same as you guys, really.
So what if someone can't, though? They can't.
Just gonna say that.
The same, right? You can't. So is there, like, I always can, so I don't really have any great advice on.
I don't think anybody can't go for a walk or can't get outside. I mean, even if you are physically disabled, I think you can, get out on a balcony or like get some sunlight or just move out of wherever you are. Like even if it's not outside, even if it's just in a different part of your house, right? Journaling, again, I mean, I'm a huge advocate, as you are, Michelle, of just putting down what's the nonsense that's going on in your brain. Because first of all, taking a pen to paper literally has to slow your brain down.
Yes.
So you have to, you change your nervous system by actually journaling. I mean, again, there's scientific data for this. You literally change your nervous system and you lower your cortisol levels by journaling because you have to slow down. Yes. So it is an amazing practice to do. Plus the fact that once you start journaling, the second part of that journaling is to then go back and look at what it is that you have written, because you are now no longer the same person that wrote that journal. Even if it's like a minute later, you are no longer that same person. So you are going to look and read that with totally different eyes than the one who wrote it. That can sometimes just be enough to go, I don't need this. This isn't what I need to have in my life. This is great.
You just blew my mind there. No, because it's like, I never looked at it that way. But when I look at what I wrote, I am now future Tracy.
Yeah, you are. That was past. That was me past. It's like, I don't need to accept this, right? No. I can look at this and go, yeah, but do I want to keep this? Do I want to stay? Do I want this story? Do I not want this story? What do I want to do with the story?
But even that, you are, like you said, you've written it down. So you've already internally processed it some way that looking back at it, you already have a new perspective.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Literally. It's exactly.
So that's the power of journaling. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But
plus the fact that sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
I was just gonna say, plus the fact that it has that whole nervous system thing going on within your body, those changes alone also create the future Tracy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer in the same state that you were in. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
There has been something else that I have been really making sure that I've stayed active in also is my gratitude journaling. So I journal, I drop all the F-bounds, everything I'm feeling, everything I have to within my journal. That's like my safe zone that I can scream and I just do whatever I want in there. And then I take a gratitude journal and I make sure I find 10 things. 4 of them are a repeat that I do every time. And then the other 6, I find something right within, if it's in my environment, if it's I look outside, if it's I see a cardinal, I don't care what it is. And I do that. And that helps gets you out of that pity, funk. Oh, I do have more than I realize I have. And then Tracy G, when you said, what if you can't go for a walk? Well, sometimes I know for myself, if I'm just shuffling around the house and I'm in a funk, I probably haven't brushed my teeth. I probably haven't taken a shower. I'm serious. Like you just stay in the pajamas. Like I'm in a funk. I just don't want, like, I go fine. I take a shower. I brush my teeth. I like prepare myself for the day, even if I'm not going anywhere. Because
Oh, go ahead.
Because it helps you, like, that's kind of self-care of yourself.
Yeah. I just realized I did one, and that is that I just do naturally again, is I put on really loud music and I just want to think I'm really, man.
Yes. Oh, my kids used to always yell at me.
Myself in the mirror.
Yeah. Yes, that is awesome. The music, definitely. Tracy G, oh my God, if I'm home alone, I'll tell Alexa to play my favorite songs and the dog will look at me like I'm a wackadoodle. I don't care.
Well, sometimes the dog has to dance with me, so.
Okay. But those are good things, you know. Yes, I do. And it's still a way, just think about it. We are still moving our body. You're moving your body dancing. You're moving your body to go brush your teeth and take a shower and do your things. It's you get into a move state, whatever that move state is. You know, and if you don't want to write down a gratitude, don't. Walk in a room and say,
yeah,
I'm grateful for that plant. It makes me smile. Walk into a bedroom. What are you grateful for within there? Find something, if you can't leave where you are, that you're grateful for at that place. It will change your mindset.
Yeah, or even just simply asking the question, how is this good for me? Like, how is this funk actually good for me?
Yeah.
And just like asking the question, and you're not necessarily going to have the answer in the moment, but it might be 10 minutes later, 2 days later. Oh yeah, you know what? I got that. This is why this funk was good for me. I figured out, first of all, how to get out of it. I figured out how to help somebody else. The moment we are no longer thinking about ourselves and we are thinking about somebody else or doing something for somebody else in service to somebody else, your problems don't exist anymore because you are now out of yourself and you are focused on somebody else. You know, it's like doing anything. It's like paying for the guy's coffee behind you, right? You could be having the crappiest day alive. That's the best way to get out of the funk. Pay for the guy's coffee behind you. And watch the look on their face when they finally realize that they don't have to pay for the coffee. It's like, oh my God, that is so nice. That person's so nice. Right? It's just like that whole, you know, we forget those little things that make such a big difference. You know, taking care of an animal, taking care of a pet, like, you know, like it, whatever that is, you are no longer in your own head. You are out of that, taking care of something else.
Even the smiling, right? Walking down the street or wherever you are and just smiling, maybe saying hi.
But even if you're not, just get out of bed and walk into the mirror and smile. Stop, smile, like smile. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a funny story. I'm gonna give a little prelude, I guess. Is that what it's called? So we will be having my daughter-in-law on a future episode. She did complete her Infinitus 250 miles race. Okay. Yes. But here, let's talk about this mind-blowing thing. Her trainer, her last day, she will continue telling the story, but we're talking about smiling. Her last day, she had to complete 54 miles. We had 24 hours to complete 54 miles. And so her coach had come in from Canada to help pace her throughout was there the last 3 days. And she had exercises for Amber to do when they're in the woods as she's pacing her. And here's what the exercise was. Every time she counted to 3, she had to do 10 smiles. And then she had to do a funny face afterwards.
That's awesome.
So that's what they would do. So we're talking about the whole thing.
Altering her mindset, right?
Yeah,
afterwards.
Getting out of that pain, getting out of, like, you cannot, you can literally not be upset if you're smiling.
Right. And it was funny smiles, like she was going, you know, and there's more to the story, and I'm sure Amber will be able to shed light on it, but it was the whole mindset. It was to get her out of the pain. It was to get her laughing. It was getting her, like, not to think about the next hill she had to take or the next downhill because her quads were like
on fire.
They were done, and whatever it was. So being in a funk, getting out and just saying, okay, every mirror I'll go by, make a funny face at yourself. Laughter breaks that whole tension of that funk, you know? So yes, I know I gave away a episode we'll be doing, but I had to tell the
Wait for
smiling
that one.
story,
Yeah,
the smile,
wait for that one.
the smile.
Yeah, true. Your
But even-
state really tells a whole lot, right? I mean, anybody who follows Tony Robbins knows that,
Yeah,
you know, he takes people through an exercise whereby you're physically, you know, you can put yourself into a sad mode very easily by hunching over, head down, you know,
Yep.
no smiling, and you can break that state very quickly by sitting up, looking up, big smile on your face. Like you literally can flip your state from
Yeah.
that.
you can.
Well, you
Yeah.
ever been like somewhere out and you're in a pissy mood, and then all of a sudden you see someone and you can immediately go, hi, and you're
Oh, yeah.
right there, and then they leave you, "Oh, no, I'm back down," right? So you can do it
Yes,
instantly
can.
if you need to.
Yep.
you can. You can change that state in a moment. So if you're in a funk,
Dance.
dance, play that funky music,
Go for a walk.
go for a walk, journal, gratitude, get up and just move,
Brush your teeth.
brush your teeth, comb your
Sunlight.
hair,
Sunlight.
sunlight. If you think of any other ways to break a funk, put them down below, because we would love to hear them,
Mhm.
because we started off just really talking about moving, and then we all of a sudden started building up, because there's things we do we don't even realize we do. Subscribe, share this. If you see someone who's in a funky mood, share this with them, because it'll be your little hint to tell them, hey, you can get out of that funky mood. Listen to these 3 women. They know how to do it. And if you want to hear more from us, make sure you hit that notify button. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.